Hello there. In this video I want to talk to you about soulmates, twin flames, relationships in general, and especially about our definitions of a relationship. When we define a person according to our search, we search and we think, oh, this person might be our soulmate, might be our twin flame. We tell ourselves a story and we believe it. We get many times we receive truly many signs, and the problem starts when we really believe our story. The person is long gone out of our lives, and we still are stuck in that story and try to give it a meaning. We try to define it so we can understand it. The thing is, from my experience, everything we want to understand on a logical level, and we tend to overthink, which creates most of the time just a storm, and can get us into a loop which makes us think even more about that person at the end, because we're trying to define it, we're trying to solve it on a logical level, and relationships cannot be defined on a logical and percepted on a logical level, because relationships are much more than a logical understanding, right? It's something we feel. There is a connection, and while there was a huge connection at that time, which no one can take away from you, regardless of how you choose to define that relationship, no one can take that connection you had with the special person away from you. Still, it's important to release it once you approach your future without that other person. And this is super important when you figure you're not just finding a soothing, comforting feeling in that sense that that person was your soulmate or your twin flame. Obviously, you had a contract, a soul contract. If you want me to talk more about soul contracts, you can just write in the comments, and I would be happy to make a video about it. But when you're defining that story, and you say this person was that and that, and then you try to find reasoning for everything, then you might get caught in that loop and get a little bit into this obsessive thinking. And that's exactly what you don't want to do with a soul that was very close to you. Because it doesn't matter if it's a soulmate, a twin flame, a karmic or cosmic bonding or relationship or a soul contract. It doesn't matter what it is, you want to let go. Especially if it's someone that means so much to your soul. You do want to let go. Because on that level of unconditional love, there is no attachment. There is only letting go. There is pure love, and at the same time pure release, regardless the consequences and the conditions. You can love someone without wanting to be with them, and you can love someone without having the need to obsessively think about them. So the more you try to define it with your own brain on that logical level, you cannot solve a problem on the same level that you created it, that Albert Einstein said that. You can't solve a problem with the same consciousness that created the problem. You can't come to a solution on that level, on that consciousness. So the best thing is to just really let go and understand that it doesn't matter if it was a soulmate or a twin flame or whatever it was. At the end of the day, you moved on, they moved on. If there is a cosmic reason for you to be back together, that your paths are gonna cross again, it will happen regardless the definition of your relationship. Now, if you're finding yourself right now in a relationship, It can be a friendly relationship, a family relationship, or a partner, a life partner. And you feel sort of these feelings of abusement, of feeling small, feeling that you're not being treated the way you should. And you have to first of all figure out if this is your own thinking. Is it your subjective thinking? Because everything we think is obviously subjective. Is it really this person treating us bad? Or is it not the way we wanted to be treated? I know it sounds the same, but it's actually not. Sometimes people do the best. They are the best friends and partners, and they're trying their best to make us happy, but we are not happy, and they can't do that. But they are treating us with respect, love, and of course, non-violence. And this is the point where you want to check if you're making it up, if you have high and unrealistic expectations about this relationship, or is it actually a violent relationship? If the person that is in a connection with you is not treating you well, is having it doesn't even have to be a physical abusement or anything physical. It can be someone that tells you all the time, you're a fuck up, you're no good, and that's a verbal violence, and that's as bad and for you. So in that case, you should definitely examine your relationship and understand why you want to stay there, because no one can make us inferior without our consent. We can't be in a relationship that is abusive without our will, of course, to do that. Of course, we don't consciously want that, but it's just something we are resonating with. It's something we attract because we don't believe we should be treated in a different way. It might be a reflection of a past relationship, because we are trying to, as Teal Swan says, she's amazing, by the way, I really recommend to watch her videos. She says that we are always trying to recreate a situation that caused us pain, that created a trauma, so we can solve it, because our true nature is to love ourselves and to have harmony and resolutions to things. Try to figure out why you're staying there. Get help, get professional help, consult with your friends. If you are staying in a relationship that is hurting you, it's your responsibility to break through that. It's not anyone else's responsibility. And from my experience, people that have broken from these kind of relationships, which is a very difficult thing to do, but after they broke it and moved on, inside, looking backwards, they are very grateful that they could do that they could finish it and let themselves out of this relationship. But it's very important also to understand if it's our expectations or is it a real mistreat. And if you're not sure, there are many ways to check that. Consult with friends and consult with a professional would help you to figure that out if you're not sure. But most of the times we know, we just try to ignore. And most of the time the victim, that is the part that is playing the victim in the relationship, is coming up with many excuses for the person that abuses them. I hope that helps. I hope you let go completely. Stay happy, stay healthy. Namaste.